The title said how to cook dinner in 37 minutes or so. Actually, it could be 38 minutes or 40 minutes. There are so many variables. Also, the title mentions steak. Actually, it should have said beef steak because we're talking about beef here. As you know, there are different types of steaks, beef steaks. There's filet mignon, my very best, I think, I experienced in Chicago. I was in boot camp on Liberty, and I had the very best filet mignon in Chicago on a very cold winter's day. Of course, there's also a flank steak. A flank steak is taken from the underbelly between the rib and the hip. Flank steak is long, thin, and more fibrous. It's usually tenderized with marinade, broiled or grilled whole, and then thinly sliced against the grain. London broil, of course, is perhaps the best known of all the steaks. Then there's porterhouse, and let's not forget the round steak. The round steak, of course, is a tougher steak and requires slow, moist cooking. Then there's the common sirloin. This cut lies between the very tender short loin and a much tougher round. When boneless, these steaks are sold as top sirloin, which is more tender, and bottom sirloin, which is less tender. Popular bone-in sirloins, of course, include the pine bone, the flat bone, or the round bone. Have you ever heard of the skirt steak? Is the diaphragm muscle, a long, flat piece of meat. Very flavorful, but rather tough. This cut must be cooked properly, either quickly grilled or braised, for the best results. Then there is the ever-popular T-bone. This cross-cut of beef includes parts from the top loin and the tenderloin. It's similar to the porterhouse, really, but with a larger portion for choice tenderloin. And now we are at the beef steak at hand, which is a New York strip. This is the one we're cooking today, New York strip. This is a cut from the short loin. This tender steak is like a porterhouse without the bone and tenderloin. Very good. I personally like it cooked just the way you see here. You cook it on both sides until it is done. That's it. With a lot of onions, tomatoes, peppers, and mushroom. Beef, by the way, was not an important part of the American diet before the Civil War. Cattle were not indigenous to the Americas, so you could not find cattle in the New World until the Spanish introduced them into Mexico around 1540, 1550, something like that. Of course, in the 18th century, the Spanish and the French colonists began to raise cattle. But the really important thing you need to remember about cattle is this. You just need to remember that Detroit meat packer is the guy who made beef so popular in America because he revolutionized the transportation of beef via his refrigeration railroad cars. That way, the beef could go from out west, where they were farmed, back east, where people really enjoyed beef. You see, beef became a symbol of American prosperity. There you have it. For right now, though, enjoy your New York strip.